little Miss Lash Tech stopped going to class. The boss would literally come around and just tap people on the shoulder at the end of the day. Let me speak with you real quick. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Y'all not about to do this to me. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I will be talking about my lash experience, my whole lash journey. I'm gonna tell y'all the whole story, how the university sent home a letter to my parents letting them know that I did not take my midterms and they took my financial aid away after I was telling them that I was going to class. In detail of how this whole thing went. And I actually want to go through and tell y'all my whole lash experience from taking the lash class all the way to where I am today, being a lash instructor. And I'm gonna take it all the way back from applying to colleges, telling y'all like how I really felt about going to college in the first place. So you'll kind of see what happened. So let's get into it. Ebook is down below, online training course is down below. I guess I'll start from college. So college, no, we'll start from high school. So high school, I absolutely hated school. I hated school just in general. Like, I don't like people telling me what to do, when to do it. It's not for me. That's why I never liked working jobs, and that's why every single job I've ever had, I quit. This was junior year. I don't know if it's like this now, you know, I'm kind of old. Junior year was when you basically, if you were early, you would apply to college. I always knew exactly where I wanted to go to school. It was the biggest party school in North Carolina. I had a blast. I had a ball. I hated college, didn't go to class, but I had a blast. So I knew where I wanted to go to college if I had to go, but I didn't want to go to college. Now, my parents always kind of knew that I wanted to be in the beauty industry and stuff like that. When I told them, they was like, they weren't really going for it. It was very much you have to get out of the house and you got to go to college. So figure out where you gonna go. I didn't do no work in high school, but when I really got accepted into college, I literally would sit in class all day, not do my work. The teacher would be lucky if I put my name on that paper because I was not doing the work. I'm not doing no work. That should have told y'all right there I was not gonna go to law school. High school ends, so excited. So my first job was sophomore year in college and I worked at Hooters. Hooters wasn't the worst job, but it was the location. Like, it wasn't a poppin' Hooters. Like, it was giving very much mid. All through college, I had a job as a server. So I worked at Hooters, I worked at Red Lobster. I used to quit jobs all the time. I did a call center job. That was horrible, hated it. First of all, I don't want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, get ready for work, drive to work, sit down at my desk. I'm calling you to collect some money and you have an attitude with me? No, ma'am. Getting cussed out at 8:30 in the morning by somebody who owes you money is not fun. I had those jobs. Junior year was when you have to take the law school admissions test. So most people study for this exam for months. I lost my mind studying for this exam. This was the hardest exam. So my major, I guess I kind of bypassed that. My major in college, I think I changed my major 3 or 4 times. When I applied to school, I was an athletic training major, like sports med. I get to school freshman year and the math class you have to pass to stay in this major, and you have to take this math class. You have to pass it. And if y'all can't tell by now, math is very much like my weakness in life. I took that math class 3 times and I still can't pass it. So at that point I was like, okay, I can't stay in the major. Like, my advisor is like, do you want to take it again for the 4th time? I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I need something where I don't have to pass a math class. So whenever I was growing up, I wanted to be a lawyer. Like, that was the only big girl career besides an astronaut, but like, let's be for real. So I was with my advisor and I had already taken like a political science class. And when I tell you I had an A+ in the class, like, this class was so easy to me. My advisor and I changed that and made political science my major. So by the time junior year came around, it's time to take the LSAT. My major was political science and my minor was child development. Y'all, I literally lost my marbles. I was studying so much for this exam, like months on end. I think I studied 7-8 months, really studying every day. I had LSAT books, study materials, all the online courses and everything. I was so locked in for that exam that I got sick. Not just like, oh, I caught a cold. I started having these crazy migraines to the point where I'm having to get MRIs every 2 weeks. Like, it was a mess. That happened. Everything ended up being okay, but I had to, like, I was on so much medication for headaches and stress. It made no sense. And I should have knew then that law school was not for me. I'll take the LSAT. Summer going into senior year comes around. By this time, I got my score around December. So I already got accepted into law school by this point. I already know I just literally have to do, you know, January through May next semester. And I already know next August, I'm going to law school. Okay, so this is where it gets crazy. January comes around, going back to school. I have my last 6 credit classes, y'all. Last 6 hours to complete my major. That December, for my birthday, I did take a Lash class, but I didn't think anything of it. Like, it really wasn't that serious. I was like, oh, I'm gonna just take this Lash class. Took it, girl, went back to school in January, completely forgot all about it. I think January, I had the call center job. So that was getting way too stressful. I think I worked there like 3 weeks. The boss would literally come around and just tap people on the shoulder at the end of the day. Let me speak with you real quick. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Y'all not about to do this to me. I quit jobs. I don't get fired, okay? Y'all not about to walk me out of here. And to walk me out after I done sat up in here 8 hours and talked on the phone for y'all, I still don't understand why jobs do that. Like, we like sitting at my desk looking around and people is just like, it's just empty desk everywhere. And I remember the next day, I was super late to work. I don't know what happened. I woke up super late. The parking lot was super full for some reason, and it was always firing people. So I don't know why the parking lot was always full. So I went around to the back, there was no parks. So I was like, you know what? I'll come out, go down the street, drive around one more time. If I come back over here and I cannot find a park, I'm literally parking across the street. There was this mug that my mom gave me that was in the drawer. Literally going in, getting my mug, and I'm walking out, and I'm never coming back. This is in March. Now, mind you, around this time, this is, you know, people are getting ready for spring break. And I was at home thinking, I gotta do something, because being a broke college student, it was not, wait, I took a Lash class. Like this, it literally slipped my mind, y'all. It slipped my mind. I ordered 1 Lash tray off of Amazon, cleared my bank account out to buy my Lash bed. I think my bank account was in the negative. When I tell you, I did not even practice on the mannequin from that December to that day when I got all of my equipment. The day that I bought all of my equipment, I literally went on Canva. I'm gonna post it right here. I made a flyer and I posted this $30 lash sets. And I had never practiced on anybody. My training wasn't a live model. But when I tell you the confidence that I had, that first client did not know that she was my first client. I'm posting it. Y'all, people are just messaging me. This is crazy. And followed a whole bunch of people from school. These were people who I didn't even know. The big school accounts, the sorority pages, those type of accounts. And people are just following back. The next week rolls around. My lash bed is here. The 1 tray of lashes. I think these, honestly, the lashes that I have from the Lash class. I don't even remember. When my first client is here, and when I tell you, it was an 8 o'clock appointment. I had 8, 12, and a 4 p.m. That's how I did my schedule when I first started. Now, mind you, this was senior year, so remember, I'm still supposed to be going to class. If I have an 8, a 12, and a 4 to do lashes, when am I going to class? Yeah, Little Miss Lash Tech stopped going to class because my days were full. What do you mean you go to class? The morning comes, her appointment was at 8. And I specifically remember she came at 7:30 because I woke up at 7 and just want to like get my space together. Mind you, I'm in the college apartments. My roommates were very much into it. And so I already knew I couldn't do lashes in the living room. It was giving very much lash bed beside my actual bed. But I was like, we gotta make this happen. So it's 7 o'clock. I get up, I'm trying to straighten everything. I got the aromatherapy going. My nerves was toe up, y'all. and I'm gonna post my first set. I still to this day don't think she know that she was my first client, because I did the set. I don't even know what you would call this. I don't know if I was doing a classic set, a hybrid set. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I had 2 people coming right after her, and I was booked up for the next couple of days anyway, so it didn't matter if I didn't know what I was doing. I had to figure some shit out, okay? Doing her lashes, and from my angle, your lash tech, you know, the angle that you seeing is the worst possible angle. Looking at it, I didn't have the mirror thing back then, so I could see it from her angle. I completed the set, or I completed it as much as I thought. And I literally just sat there because I was like, this girl is going to beat my ass when she sees her lashes. Because in my opinion, you know, it looks very bad. So I finally get the courage to tell her like, hey girl.
Hey, how y'all doing?
I'm finished with your lashes. And I hand her the mirror. This girl was so happy. And I'm gonna show you why, because it looks completely different from her angle than it did on mine. It looked bad, but I mean, there was only 2 lash techs on campus, and then the fact that it was a $30 set. Girl was so excited. I love thee, can't believe this. I'm about to tell all of my friends. When she said that, it was a wrap. And I think at that moment, yeah, class can really kiss my ass. Mind you, this was the week before spring break, which means this was midterms. This week that I was lashing all day, which means that I didn't make it to any of my midterm classes. But I'm like, okay, I missed hella classes for the past 4 years, and I've missed midterms before. Let's not even play. Hopefully my parents not watching this video. But I've never missed every single midterm. So apparently, if you miss every single midterm, they unenroll you from school. I didn't know this. I didn't make the conscious decision to drop out at that point, but I knew like, I'm not doing midterms this week. I'm just, you know, finesse my teachers like I always used to do. I made like $500 or something the first week. Then the next week comes around, I go back to class. I'm like emailing my professors like, hey, I'm just going through a rough time. I really need to make up this exam. One of my professors was like, okay, this time, you know, you can make it up this day, just stay after. I don't think the rest of them responded. So a lot of them wouldn't respond anyway, so I didn't think nothing of it. It was the next week, and I go back to class, and remember, it was one teacher. I didn't like this lady. The class was hard, but I didn't like the lady. And she used to call out roll in the beginning of class, and she didn't say my name.
Wait a minute, something ain't right.
That's fine. So it's the end of class, and I go up to her, and Miss, whatever your name is, you didn't call my name on roll, but also I missed midterms last week, and I emailed you, I make it up. And so she looked on her roster and she was like, wait, yeah, your name isn't on here. That's weird, because you've been in class since January. Why is your name not on the roll? And I think she started looking through her calendar to make up my exam. I don't really remember all of the details, but all I remember is she either got notified some kind of way and checked her email or something. You were taken off of my roster. Actually, not on the roster anymore. Like, it wasn't a glitch. It wasn't like a misprint, not on the roster no more. What are you talking about? Lady, what are you talking about? I'm not on the roster. I don't think nothing of it, because y'all know, at this, if you can't tell by now, I didn't really care too much about college. So I didn't really care if I wasn't on the road. It wasn't clicking to me. I had lashes to do the next day. I had a couple of coins in my pocket. Like, I did not care if I was not on the road. I just keep doing lashes for the next couple of weeks. My mom would call me, she always do, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm about to get on the bus to, you know, go to class. I'm setting up for a client. When I tell you I was lying to my parents so bad that I was doing lashes and I was not going to class. So my parents literally thought I was going to class and I would be setting up for a lash appointment, until one day my mama called me. I answered the phone. Before I could say hello, this woman is yelling at me. And you know when your mama yelling at you on the phone in public, like, girl, please don't embarrass me. I'm hanging this phone up.
Don't do it.
So I'm just trying to play it off like, hey, what's wrong? This woman goes off like, Jordan, what are you down there doing? You not in school no more. girl, look, calm down. I'm around people like, please don't do this. The school just sent home a letter, like something with the financial aid. So I guess because I didn't take midterms, just looked like I wasn't in school no more. So my financial aid had got taken away. The financial aid office had sent a letter home to my parents. That's what it was. Basically saying like my financial aid had been removed because I unofficially dropped out. My mom was hot, okay? I'm like, damn, that's what happened, because I didn't really know what was going on. All 4 years, I never really went to class. I did enough to get by, but if I found out, and you know when you in college, like some classes you literally don't have to show up for. As long as you do your little online work or show up for your little 4 tests, you don't have to go. You don't have to go and sit in class. To me, it wasn't a big deal. Senior year, like I'm already supposed to be going to law school. Like, I mean, I'm going to class here and there, but I'm going to class around my lashes, but I'm already going to law school in August. There's no need for me to really have to do anything right now. Oh, but they done took my ass out of school. They done took my financial aid and they done sent a note home to my mama, and now I can't go to law school in August. Yeah, that's what happened. So once my mama told me that, after she cussed me out, okay, well, I'm gonna have to keep doing lashes, because I mean, if I'm not in school anymore, that means that this whole semester that I was doing, so I couldn't go to law school in August because I didn't finish the last 6 credits. So that's what happened. At least I've been doing lashes for the last like 2-3 weeks. I can just keep going because the momentum was very hot. Okay, being on a college campus, clientele is crazy. So it was very easy to get clients. As soon as I post, if I posted a special, if I posted my availability, it was DM after DM after DM. Like, yeah, I don't care that I'm not in college no more. Now, my mama was upset. My parents were very much upset. My mom, when I tell you that lady was down with me, because my mom has 3 degrees and she will make sure you know. I think me and my mom stopped talking for like 6 months. My dad would talk to me every now and then, but they was very much upset that I was lying. But I was like, y'all don't see my vision. Y'all really don't see my vision, and y'all never really saw what I was really talking about. High school, like y'all was not hearing me. Like, I'm not working for nobody. I'm not doing that. That's not for me. I don't like it.
Like, I can't take the pressure of it. But don't you think any job interview...
But I mean, y'all know, parents are in a completely different generation. They didn't have all of the business owners and entrepreneurship and all of that type of knowledge back then. I can't be mad at them. Kept going, kept doing lashes. I think I ran that $30 special for like a month or 2, and then I raised my prices. I can put my price list right here. I was eating. I was making $500-600 in a day back then. When I tell you I turned up, and this is how I feel like I'm so quick now, because my momentum back when I first started was crazy. It wasn't like, oh, I'm doing one person today and then in 3 weeks I'm gonna do another person. No, when I first started, I started. Gave up law school for this shit, okay? So it was very much, this has to work, because my other plan that I was originally going with fell through. So I mean, the only other option was for me to do lashes. So I literally had to make it like, okay, well, if I like the lawyer's salary, I'm gonna have to do that with lashes. And that's exactly what I did. Raised my prices, kept doing lashes. I stayed back in North Carolina for 8 months to a year. I don't really remember, but I just remember I was lashing, and once I made that decision that I was moving to Atlanta, I gotta go crazy. Like, I gotta save. I was doing lashes for 30-40 days straight, no days off. And I was doing them in like 2-hour increments. And this is how I got so fast. I would literally get up, I would go 8 to 8, 8, 10, 12, 2, 4, 6, 8 all day long. And that's why whenever I moved to Atlanta, I had the same work ethic, because I knew it was a lot more saturated in Atlanta, and I was really gonna have to put the work in. Now, this was back in the day, and it was still saturated. It's very much oversaturated now, but as long as your customer service is good, you fine. Yeah, moved to Atlanta, same thing. I had to find a different approach because I was not in college, so I thought I was gonna do the same thing. College girls going to college Instagram pages, you know, and And that was gonna be my target audience, but it wasn't working like that. But I think that was because it was already college girls on campus. By this time, I'm not in college no more. I'm full grown ass adults. I'm an adult now. Now, if I was in college, I feel like it would be dumb easy because you already have that following and those people around you, and that would be a lot easier. But by this point, once I saw, like, for the first couple of weeks that was not working, like, they were following, but they were not booking, I'd have to figure something else out. This was when I started passing out the flyers. I used to go crazy on Instagram and Twitter. I was on Twitter. I'll post right here a picture of what I used to do. So Atlanta lashes or Atlanta beauty or anything like that. And I would just respond back and post like, hey, this is my lash page. I would do that for hours. So that's what happened. So I started lashing for my apartment, and then after 3 months, I moved first and I got my first salon suite. And this is really what did it. So I was getting clients here and there. So I was so glad that I had saved up money from North Carolina doing lashes, because when I moved to Atlanta, the clients were coming in so slow. In my opinion, it was slow. So I maybe would have 5 or 6 clients throughout the week. It is good because that doesn't happen for a lot of people, but coming from where I used to be doing 10 people a day, like 7 people all week, no, that's not good enough. Because at this point, I have to pay rent, I have to pay bills, I have big girl obligations now. Back in college, I think my daddy stopped paying my rent. I mean, college apartment rent was very much cheap. Like, it was like $500. It wasn't the smartest decision to go out and get the salon suite, but at the same time, if I did not, I know with all my heart, if I did not go to this salon owner was so fucking rude. She was just rude to all of us. The first month you pay $100 a week. The second month you pay $150, and then the third month you start paying $200 a week for the next year. So you locked into a whole year contract for this suite, or you broke it, she was gonna take you to court. So the $100 a week, it was cool. But by the time it started getting to $150 a week, mind you guys, I still had the same prices from when I was back in North Carolina. So the dumb, stupid, cheap prices, and I'm only doing, 5 to 7 clients a week, and I still have other bills that I have to pay now. The second time that I had to pay $150, and I was like, oh, like, I literally I don't even think I had made $150 that week. We have 2 more weeks to pay $150, and then I'm gonna have to start paying this lady $200 a week. I'm gonna go in and ask her, can I break my lease? Very much a no, very much a, oh, well, you cannot do that. I'm gonna take you to court.
What? Child. Anyway, so
this was not no building that I got. This was me going into this lady's salon and saying, hey, can I rent out this? It was a little hole in the wall, okay? And I'll put a picture. No, we can't do this. I remember I literally went home and I busted out into tears. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm out here in Atlanta. I was not gaining clientele fast enough. And I remember it was that week I had went into my savings to pay for that booth rent that week. I don't know what's about to happen. Like, I'm about to start having to pay this lady $200 a week. So I was still consistent with my promoting. That's why I always say, just keep being consistent, because it's gonna work. It's gonna work. But I didn't know that back then. I'm doing lashes, the little bit of clients that were actually coming. And one day the girl across from me who did lashes, we were just having, the regular salon conversation. And I was like, yeah, it's so hard to gain clientele. And she had told me she had came from North Carolina too. She was like, send me your lash page. Like, your work is so good, but your prices are so cheap, and your prices are too low. It looks like something is wrong. Like, your work is good, but your prices are so low that, like, people are confused because the prices are so low. And you mean I really do gotta raise my prices? Like, so I went home that night. Mind you, I was still doing DM to book, and I changed my prices. Within the next 3 or 4 days, people are booking. Yes, sir! And after that, that was it. It started taking off just like how it was back in North Carolina. So, I mean, by this point, because I knew that I had to pay booth rent, I used to work my ass off. I used to be in the salon until 11:30 at night. getting up at 7 o'clock, being there for a 7:30 appointment. All I do is lashes. So this time it was to the point where, yeah, I would think that I have certain hours. Like, yeah, I only want to work from like 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. But what time do you want to come? I'll come in at whatever time you need me to come in, because I won't make no money, okay? My clients, I still have a lot of them coming to me today that were with me back then, because I used to just accommodate as much as I can. Then I was like, wait a second. I would come in on Sundays and it's empty in here. Lash tech who told me to raise my prices. I remember asking her, when y'all ever be in here on Sundays? And she was like, we don't work on Sundays and Mondays. When I tell you the light bulb went off in my head, do you not see the problem with that? I went home, I got on Canva. Let's do a special on Sunday for full set and fill-ins. And I would do, it was $60 full sets and fill-ins. And I always worked over other people's work, so 4 fill-ins was included. Within 3 weeks, I was in that shop from 7 a.m. until like 10 p.m. It was going crazy on Sundays. I'm looking at all the other lash techs like, why don't y'all just work on Sundays? This got to the point where it was very much like 2 people during the week. But Sundays, I would be in there all day. I would have enough to just go ahead and pay the lady booth rent for the whole month. So that built up clientele very fast. It was a lot of weeks where I would literally only be working on Sundays. And that special is what really grew my clientele in Atlanta. So in the middle of me leasing my booth, COVID hit. And every single day I had new clients, old clients. Please, Joydan, I have a clean space. Like, I can come to your place, you can come to my place. I have gloves, I have this, I have COVID tests. Yeah, this was when I found out like, oh yeah, I'm in the right profession, because the world is literally shut down and y'all still want me to do y'all lashes. That's crazy. I don't want to do nothing else outside of the beauty industry, because it don't matter what's going on. Girls want to be cute, okay? You always gonna make money if you are in the beauty industry. So right after lockdown, I did a special. I ran a special. It was like $80 hybrid set. Running a special when you know it's in high demand. Yeah, when you in high demand, run a special. A real quick special, but run a special. This is where I started to get burnt out from doing lashes, because it was like I would literally work all day and I still couldn't accommodate everybody. I could do 10 to 12 people in a day and I would still have people texting me for squeeze-ins. This was when I was like, okay, I can't do DM to book anymore. I have to get a site, because I was getting so stressed out that I would be working all day. Mind you, if I'm lashing all day, I can barely check my phone. People are DMing me saying, hey, I want the 10 o'clock this day. Hey, I want the 9 a.m. this day. And I would look at my phone and I have like 8, 9 messages. I can't respond to all of these people to make sure, okay, well, I didn't double book you. It was just getting so stressful. I remember I took 4 days off and I literally sat at home and I created my booking site. Made things so much easier. On the booking site, that was when I really started seeing my revenue. So I would see my revenue from my bank account, because I didn't have another job. I just do lashes. So anytime I deposited money, it was lash money. So that's how I was able to see like 10,000, 12,000 a month. I always knew Sundays was gonna go off because you're not working and I'm in here all day. Might as well come get your lashes done. I picked up clientele in Atlanta and my name started to get out there more, and people started messaging me like, hey, can you train me? What's your training prices? So what I did do before leaving North Carolina, there was this one girl I ended up training. Well, I wouldn't even call it a training because I didn't know what I was doing. So I was just like, pay me $300 and I will teach you everything that I know about lashes, and I'm gonna pass my whole clientele off to you. So that's what I did, but I didn't really feel like it was a real training class because I didn't know what I was doing. So when people started messaging me in Atlanta, I would just ignore it. I literally ignored those messages for almost like 6 months. Eventually, I started training. So I would do one-on-ones here and there, but I really was not comfortable doing group trainings yet. But after COVID, when I posted the $80 special, I also posted a group training flyer. This was my first training class that I taught. Super nervous. Did not think that I was gonna get one person to sign up. Y'all, the class sold out. It was crazy. It went so good. But after the class, the students came up and hugged me. They were like, oh my God, I love this. Like, I'm so ready to be a lash tech. Y'all, that was when I fell in love with training. I was like, oh yeah, I'm nervous up here, but y'all love it. So if y'all like it, I love it. Literally, as soon as that class was over, I made the next flyer for my second group class. This one sold out in 9 days. How is this happening? So at that point, I was like, oh, y'all want me to train y'all? I'm gonna train y'all. So I did a whole bunch of lash classes in Atlanta. It's time to do a tour. So I did my first tour, did my second tour, did my third tour. That is how I started doing trainings and stuff. That was 3 years ago. And then after that, lease was up at that salon. Then I went to working from home, getting a 2-bedroom. It was so cute. I had my lash studio in there. After that, I did another salon suite. And I'll tell you right now, I always would pick working from home, lashing from home over being in a salon suite or anything like that. I found this salon suite that I'm in now and I absolutely love it. Just be careful with finding salon suites. I guess that's the biggest point of that part. But yeah, that's kind of my story on my lash experience, how I got started lashing, how I was supposed to go to law school, how I got into law school, and how I dropped out of college unofficially and had to do lashes. So I kind of got forced into doing lashes. I always tell all of my students that whenever I train them, like, I didn't know it was gonna turn out like this. I just had to make it happen, and I had to make it work because I was like, oh, we're gonna have to figure it out. So yeah, that is my story. That's how I got started doing lashes. If y'all have any questions or anything, leave them down below. Ebook is down below too. Online training class is down below. I'll see y'all in my next video.